Hey y'all, Drew coming at you from a lovely hotel room down in Georgia. Uh, Traveling for work, which means I had a lot of time on the highway. And when I'm on the highway, I like to do a couple of different things. One is I like to jam out in my car. I will sing. I will, kind of dance-ish responsibly while I'm driving. Um, it's fun to sing at the top of my lungs when nobody else is around because I don't think I'm a very good singer. So this way I'm not hurting anybody's eardrums. But at some point my voice is going to get sore from singing, so I will then probably listen to a podcast or two that I want to get, caught up on. And then the third thing I like to do is just think deep thoughts with myself, right? Which is sometimes really enlightening and sometimes it's not, and sometimes it's just zoning out about random things. But today on the drive, I was thinking about posing, right? And posing my clients when it comes to photography. And over the past, 6 months, 8 months since I've been getting more and more taking photographs of people and families and events, I've come a long way. I'm not great at it by any means. When I look at the first couple of sessions I took with a client that I had to pose and take charge of to now, it is a night and day difference. And for me, I am very much an introvert. I don't like talking to people, which is ironic because that's exactly what I do in these videos. And I like to take photographs of people. So I feel like it's always kind of an extroverted thing, but I like it. I like making art. I like creating things. And I want to share with y'all some of the things that I found have really helped me when it comes to posing my clients. So that's what this ramble is going to be. It's not that random because it's premeditated. I thought about it in the car and I took some notes. So I have some notes to talk about as well to go off of. So the first thing that I think has really helped me when it comes to posing my clients is the past couple of months I've really gotten into mood boards for each session I'm going to do. Inspiration board, a collage, whatever you want to call it. What I mean is I will go out and get inspiration photos. So whenever I get a client, I send them a Google form. Just things like what type of session do you want? Who's going to be involved? What are their ages? What type of styles, do you like? You like serious, silly, documentary, all the above, whatever it is. So I get a feel for the client and what they expect as well. And then based off of that, and the location that is picked, I will go out and look at inspiration photos. Um, if it's a mommy and me photos at a similar location, a meadow, the forest, a park, the beach, whatever it's going to be. And I will save, several different photos with several different poses, and I will make a little collage. I believe it's called Freeform, has been great for this, really useful, really beneficial, at least for me, but I will get them all there. And once that is, done and made, it's kind of fun. I'll put like a little picture of one here because I can personalize it. You can like draw all the photos, and I like to write the names and little notes to myself. Um, I don't know. It adds a personal touch. I will send that to the client and ask them what poses of these do they like? Are any of these, not doable based off of maybe, your own movement, mobility limitations or that of people who may be attending. And if it's a child or children involved, they're also going to know, is that child comfortable being held above, your head? Right? Is that something that they like to do? Or that make them smile and laugh and giggle? And something I can capture a moment of. And if not, it gives me things to okay, let's try maybe these types of poses. And that mood board does a couple of different things. It one gives them a vision of what to expect when they're there, and I'm posing them because they've seen it, and it was usually something I will, resend the day before, it's just like a reminder for the session, the confirmation as well. And I like to think that they'll look at it as well. When they get there and I'm walking through poses and explaining them, they probably have a good idea of what I'm talking about already because the poses I'm walking them through, they've seen recently. And I found a lot of success with that. That's probably been a huge improvement in things that I've done that I think has been beneficial. Next up is YouTube videos. You're watching this. I'm not really going to walk you through posing people in this. This is just things I do to help me pose people. I know that sounds weird, but there's a difference in there, I think. Right? And what I mean is there are people who go out and record their entire sessions from start to finish and they post them. Or they review the sessions, on YouTube, and it's been really beneficial for me to go out there and watch those. One individual I like to watch a lot is Omar. What is his last name? I think it's Gonzalez. If I messed it up, I apologize. I'll fix it in like a little comment here. But he's been great. I like to watch a lot of his content, and I get to see how he, poses people, how he lines people up, some of the things he will say that I can then steal myself. There were other folks who will record that session, and I get to hear how they interact with people. I get to hear the one-liners they may use to get people to relax or come out of their shell a little bit. And I have found that stealing some of those have been really useful for me as well. Not only because it helps them relax, but when they laugh, they crack a smile, it helps me relax and just connect to them a little bit more. So once I go out there and I have that mood board, I maybe watch, some YouTube videos on the poses or the types of sessions I'm going to do. I then record myself saying those poses and those prompts. That for me has also been really beneficial. I think we all, you know, are guilty of this. When I talk to myself, in my head, it is very clear. It's very precise. I know exactly what I mean and, what message I am trying to convey because it's me talking to myself and I know myself. I think therefore I am. That's a very deep thought there, I suppose. Do I know myself? I think so. I'm getting there. I'm like 36 by now, so hopefully I have a rough idea. That's a different ramble for a different YouTube channel. But my point being is that sometimes, even though what I want to convey in my head is very clear to me, when I verbalize it, as you can probably tell from watching these videos, is not always clear. And when I go out and I walk through the prompts and I instruct myself, I can see myself in the camera. If I want them to turn a certain way, I say it out loud. I will use one of my wife's squishmallows. There's like, a mommy in me, like, hey, give me a big, like, ups the daisy, look up and, or give them a little tickle here, right? I say these things when it's like, come around and hug and give a little tickle. Um, just so the first time I'm saying these is not when I'm there in front of the client. Now I know as I get more and more work and I say these things, right, it's gonna flow better, but I'm still a beginner. So me having the opportunity to verbalize these things and then come back and play them and listen to what I said. I'm like, this was clear. This was not clear. I should try saying this instead. And I will take notes, right? I'm a big note person. Always have a field notes book on me with a pen. Um, but it just helps me get the reps in. And I think that's really important at this point in my photography journey. So yeah, right. Record myself, go through the prompts. I will pose myself. I do what I say, Marco Polo essentially, and I can then analyze it afterwards. And those three things that I've probably been doing, and I can tell from the first mommy and me session to the most recent family session I've done, the amount of comfort I've had taking charge and posing people is night and day, right? Since I'm getting the reps in ahead of time when I have inspiration for the shoot, I have an idea of what I want it to look like based off of that inspiration board. I've watched other people pose people and then I've done it myself, just speaking out loud. I can spend more time focusing on the composition, right? The finer details in there of, hey, your hand coming out here, just seeing the fingers looks a little bit awkward. Maybe drop that hand a bit, or let's have it, come from like more of a wraparound hug. It just looks more natural, right? I don't know if that makes sense, but I can pick up on the finer details of the composition because I'm not so worried about the bigger picture because I know what to say already for stuff like that. I hope that's clear, even though I'm rambling. Which gets into the fourth thing I've been playing around with a little bit, and it's kind of like everything I've been doing, but now automated. And I fell victim to a Facebook ad. I can't believe this happened to me, but the Unscripted app has been really good for this. I've just done the free version. I don't know if I purchase because I like making these mood boards and doing the research and then practicing ahead of time. But that is essentially everything I've been doing. Right? They have photos of poses. They walk you through the prompts to say, and it's just kind of like everything I've been doing myself. So I'm sure they've been around for a while. Excuse me. Um, but I've just been getting ads for them recently. I'm not sponsored by the Unscripted app, okay? But hey, if y'all end up watching this, or somebody from the company does, and you want to sponsor me, if you do that, that'd be great. More than willing to strictly use y'all for a lot of my pose, research and practice ahead of time. Those are the four big things I think I've been doing recently that's really helped me pose individuals. And then the last thing I've been doing, not necessarily, I think, to help just with posing in general, but it's related. It's more so for composition of things. I've been doing a lot of research, maybe isn't the right way to say this, looking into reading. I don't know, reading is also looking at classical paintings, right? Groups of people in classical paintings of portraits. There's just a certain style to those things that I like. And I get to see how they order people in those paintings. When I first look at it, where do my eyes go to? And then why do my eyes go there? And that may be something that can be useful for me when it comes to the sessions. They do a lot of like the mountaintops and a lot of like the classical group paintings of people. And that is something I try to emulate when I have the opportunity to, if the session and the people in that session allows for something like that, which I guess is really just appreciating art and then trying to recreate that in my own way. But yeah, classical painting, I think has been useful, not only for groups of people, but for portraits as well, for the lighting and the composition, the backdrops. I think that's been really useful. So that's going to do it for this ramble. It's been, probably 10, 12 minutes already. If you thought this was useful, consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel. It would mean a lot to me as we continue to grow and help everybody improve and just, get better, pursue your passions and your hobbies, and maybe build a community. Yeah, that's a really feel good stuff at the end there. It's been a long day of driving. It's just nice to talk, I guess. Yeah. Anyways, but I want to know in the comments down below if you're still here, um, what was probably the biggest thing you think has helped you posing people? Has it just been getting the reps in? Is there a process you've developed like I have? Is there an app you use? And I'd love to hear your thoughts and your experience when it comes to posing people. So thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you all in the next one. Well, okay, love you. Bye. Peace out. Okay, I think that was good.